The Impact segment, big restaurant here in L.A. charging a 3% tax to pay for employee health care, and the overseas situation. Joining us now from Norfolk, Virginia, Democrat James Carville. All right, we'll get to the restaurant thing, which is interesting because I think it may be a trend now coming, and this is off the health care debate. Overseas. My basic philosophy is use soft power as much as you can. But in order for that to be effective, there has to be backed up by hard power. And right now in the world, I don't believe that the nations we have to deal with in an adversary way fear President Obama. Am I wrong?
Well, look, the thing in Iran, actually, as your previous guest pointed out, it's the lowest level that they've had in recent times, and that they're in compliance with the agreement they did. Furthermore, today it was announced that they were going to round two, and they'd agreed on the framework, and they're restarting the talks on March 17th. Now, whether or not they get there by July, I don't know, but these sanctions appear to be working somewhat. And we won't know until July, but it seems to be moving in a pretty good direction.
Okay, and I think that's a fair point. I think that's a fair point. You've got to give it some time to see if they're going to comply. But as you know, they're making outrageous statements. They want to back it a year, not 6 months. Reid is blocking any kind of sanity where you would pass a reintroduction of sanctions if they didn't hit the agreed-upon date. That's what they should do. But this dope Reid, and he is one of the worst. He won't even bring it up to do a sane thing that would protect this country. Come on, you know what I'm talking about.
Well, you know, not just, I think actually, you know, we're negotiating, but the negotiations are continued, and I think thus far, it's actually pretty good.
Right,
let's give it a chance. We don't need actually AIPAC, which is a very strong pro-Israel group in Washington, doesn't want these brought up either. That's not an unreasonable position to take. I'm not for further sanctions.
I don't know if it's unreasonable, but the wise position is to reinstitute sanctions, to have them there so the mullahs can see them. If you don't do what you said you were going to do, that's the sane position. Let's go to Ukraine. Let's go to Ukraine.
Okay. All right, let's go to Ukraine.
All right.
But let me point out that the sanctions set by President Obama and Secretary of State Clinton were working, and that's what brought the Iranians to the table. But let's go to Ukraine.
You know what I'm saying is right. Let's go to Ukraine. You got this violence, and you got all of this stuff. Then you have President Obama saying there'll be consequences. Less than 24 hours after he says it, the Ukrainian army shoots down 70 people in the street. Then the Obama administration spokesperson is asked, is that going to evoke consequences? And he doesn't answer. Come on, Carville.
First of all, I've worked in the Ukraine, so it'd have to be something I know a little bit about. And the Europeans are there, and it's a kind of a European-Russia issue. We're also very involved in sanctions, working with the Germans, working with the French, working with the people in the EU. Now, the truth of the matter is Russia's right there. And Yanukovych, I don't like him. I certainly work for the other party, but he was actually elected. It's actually a democratic country.
But he's rolling back freedoms now. That's what happened.
And I think he's a bad guy, but he's elected, and I sure am not for use of any U.S. hard power in the Ukraine. I'm completely supportive of the EU. I'm completely supportive of being part of a solution there or putting pressure on them. And the Ukraine now really wants to, with Billy divided, I think it really wants to look to the West. Yeah, you know, but I don't exercise any hard power in the Ukraine right now. Not at all.
Well, what kind of pressure are you going to put on them if you're not going to exercise any hard power?
The Germans, they're already limiting travel there. I think they're going to freeze assets. I think they're going to start doing things like that. And you can put some economic pressure on them, but you got to remember that their country, they're not working very well. But unlike the Arab Spring, that government was actually elected, much to my chagrin, I might add.
Oh, all right, you know, but when an elective government then turns around and starts to take away freedoms, that's the problem. All right, Carville, we got it.
It's terrific.
We got it.
Yeah, I got it. Thank you.